I find her obnoxious. All right, let's start seated. Feeling that the bony parts of your bum are settling, excuse me, settling down into the chair. Letting your legs feel a bit heavy. Maybe the backs of the thighs are resting down on your chair, on the seat of the chair. And it might feel good to rock forward and back, side to side, just finding your center, finding your balance, and letting the weight be evenly distributed. It might feel good to close your eyes as you settle in, or to keep them open, whatever feels best this morning for you. And then maybe finding a sense that the crown of your head is lifting up, finding some length in the spine. Letting the shoulders melt down any amount. Feeling the soles of the feet on the floor. And maybe letting your hands rest, whether it's palms down or palms up, whatever feels right in your body this morning. Giving yourself a few moments just to breathe, just to be here in the seat as we settle in. Maybe noticing if you're carrying any tension in the forehead or the jaw, and if it would feel okay, softening those away. Maybe allowing the shoulders to soften down any amount, allowing for a little more space between the ears and the shoulders. Maybe softening the low belly, allowing the breath to flow a little more easily and deeply, if it feels okay. Spending a little bit of time here, just breathing, settling in. Being the day of the full moon, let's actually set an intention before we start our practice. So if there's anything happening or anything in your life you wish to let go of, maybe setting an intention to start releasing whatever it is. If it's a habit, if it's physical things or emotional things, it can be anything at all, anything you want to let go of. And as we sit here, setting the intention to let go of whatever it is, be imagining that it's already gone. And coming back to the body, let's start to move very gently into the neck. We'll start by turning the head from side to side. Very slowly, we can inhale and center. Exhaling, turning your head to one side. It doesn't matter which first. Inhaling back to center as you're ready. And turning your head the other direction. Moving with your own breath. Letting your movement be as slow as your breath. Noticing any areas of stickiness in your neck, any areas of resistance, and just noticing them, observing. And the next time you feel you've done both sides evenly, coming back to center, letting your head come back to center, facing forward. Spending a breath or two here. Noticing any sensations in the neck, in the shoulders. And then we'll start to move the head as if we were nodding. Yes, we'll inhale and center. And as you exhale, dipping the chin down towards the chest. Inhaling back through center as you're ready. Moving with your breath, exhaling to tip the chin down. Let's inhale to lift the chin this time, almost lifting the gaze towards the ceiling, not letting it be cranking the neck, but just finding some length in the back of the neck, a lift of the chin. Exhaling to bring the chin back towards the chest. We'll move through about 3 more breath cycles, following your own rhythm of breath. Eyes can be open or closed. Coming back to center whenever you're ready, letting the head face forward. And again, giving yourself a pause, giving yourself time to notice sensations in the neck, shoulders, maybe the back of the head. Just noticing what you notice, where you feel. And then let's move into our figure 8 type movements with the head. So imagine you've got something to draw with at the tip of your nose. It can be any medium you like, paint, chalk, pencil, pen, markers, any color, any medium. And we'll start to draw figure 8s with the nose. They can be teeny tiny figure 8s, or maybe your figure 8s get a little bigger. But exploring the movement. Moving into the neck a little bit of a different way. And again, noticing any areas of stickiness, making any observations about this movement that might be different from the way we moved before. Eyes again can be open or closed. And then let's switch directions. One direction might feel a little more natural than the other two. Just noticing what you notice. Eventually making your way back to center as you're ready. Giving yourself the time and space to notice sensations again. Let's move down into the shoulders a little bit. Maybe finding some shoulder rolls to begin. Just moving the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. The hands can lift if it feels good. They could stay on your lap. And let's switch the directions of the shoulder rolls, going backwards, up, forward, and down. And then settling back into your tall seat, letting the shoulders release down, giving yourself a pause, noticing sensations. Let's move into the shoulders a little more, using a bit more of the arm. Bringing the right hand down to your right side, letting the arm hang down. Maybe out a little bit, stretching it out on the diagonal just a little bit. We'll inhale here. And as you exhale, we'll sweep the arm on a diagonal up towards the other shoulder, curling as you arrive, almost as though you could reach your fingertips back behind you in that direction. You may not reach, that's okay. Letting it be gentle, letting it be a little bit fluid. Letting this be the last one, we'll release the right hand to the lap. Pausing to notice any sensations in the right shoulder versus left. And then we'll switch sides. Letting the left hand come down beside your hip, or reaching down towards the floor. Again, inhaling in center. As you exhale, sweeping left arm this time up towards opposite shoulder. Maybe moving with breath, inhaling to reach down, exhaling to sweep up. Then after this one, allowing the left hand to release back to your lap. Pausing again for a moment, noticing sensations or difference in sensation from one arm to the other. And then let's move down into the torso, into the spine. Let's start with our side bend this morning. Let's come back to dropping the right arm down beside us. We'll bring left hand to the hip or waist. Inhaling in center, letting the crown of the head reach up. And as you exhale, reaching the right hand fingers down towards the floor, stretching into the left side body. If it feels okay to stay, we could stay here for a breath or two. Or we could move with breath, inhaling up and exhaling over. Deciding what feels better in your body. And inhaling all the way back up. Allowing the hands to come back to your lap for a moment. Noticing any difference in maybe sensation in the side body from one side to the other. Maybe the left side feels a little longer. And then letting the left hand come down beside you. Hang down beside you. Right hand will come to the hip. Inhaling nice and tall here in center. As you exhale, tipping over to the left, letting the left hand be heavy, and either staying here or moving with breath, your choice. Inhaling back up and exhaling to tip, or staying and breathing in the side bend. We'll spend one more breath here, whichever version you're choosing. And then inhaling all the way back up, coming back to center, releasing the hands, noticing sensations. Let's find a bit of our cat-cow variation. I'll turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. Reaching either for thighs or knees is generally where I feel most comfortable, but that might be different for you. So deciding where it feels good to have your hands resting. On an exhale, we'll round the spine, pulling the belly button towards the spine as though you could pull your belly button all the way through the back of your chair. Then when you inhale, arching the spine, bringing the chest through the upper arms, and maybe lifting the gaze any amount. Moving with your breath, this can be a very subtle movement or deeper, depending on how it feels for you this morning. Inhaling to arch. And exhaling to round the spine like a Halloween cat. Moving to the rhythm of your breath. Mm-hmm. As you've had enough, as you feel ready, making your way back to that tall and neutral spine, feet firmly on the floor, soles of the feet planted. Sit bones feeling heavy, pelvis held heavy, crown of the head reaching up for our in-between reset. And again, giving yourself the time to notice how that felt in your body. We're going to delay our twist for a couple of minutes. We're going to move down into the legs. So let's start by stretching the right leg out. It might feel good to move forward on your chair a little bit just to bring the sit bones a little closer to the edge so you've got a little more space. Reaching the right leg out towards straight. Heel pushing into the floor. Maybe the toes of the right foot are pulling towards your shin in a flexed position. And just breathing here, letting the left foot stay strong. Left foot is pushing into the floor gently, keeping you stable. Stretching into the back of the right leg. And let's release the right leg, bringing it back to a bent position. Pause for a moment. Give yourself the time to notice. And then we'll stretch left leg out. Heel comes to the floor, foot flexed, so toes are pulling towards your shin. This time, right foot is stamped on the floor, gently supporting you. Maybe stretching into the back of the left leg on this time. Breathing. Then releasing the left foot, allowing it to be bent again. Maybe wiggling the knees a little bit from side to side. We'll come back to the right foot. Stretching right foot out, heel to the floor, foot flexed. And this is where we're going to bring our twist into it if it feels okay in your body. Inhaling nice and tall, both legs are strong. As you exhale, turning the shoulders to the left, maybe the right hand comes to the left thigh. The left hand can stay by your back hip or maybe reaching towards the back of the chair. Breathing here for about 2 breath cycles if it feels okay to stay, knowing you can come out of any pose anytime you like. When you're ready, inhaling to unwind, coming back to center. Releasing the right foot, bringing both soles of the feet to the floor. It might feel good to find a little wiggle of the knees again. We'll switch sides as you're ready. Stretching left leg out, left heel to the floor, left foot flexed. Inhaling in center, feeling the strength in your legs, the stability in your legs. As you're ready, exhaling shoulders to the right. Maybe left hand comes to right thigh. Right hand might come back to your hip or reaching for the back of the chair. Breathing here. Couple of breath cycles if it feels okay. Again, knowing you can come out at any point of any pose. As you're ready, inhaling to come back through center, unwinding. Releasing the left leg, bringing the sole of the foot back to the floor. Maybe finding that little bit of wiggle again if that would feel good. Let's use the legs once more. Another little, we'll do both legs at once. So stretching one leg and then the other. Both heels pushing into the floor. Both feet are flexed. The knees can be a little bit bent or moving towards straight, whatever feels right. Let's bring hands to hips. Inhaling nice and tall. And this time as you exhale, hinging forward any amount. This might, maybe there's no hinge. Maybe there's a very small hinge. Maybe there's a deep hinge. Whatever feels right in your body this morning, kind of exploring that. We'll move with breath. Exhaling to hinge. Inhaling to come back up. Exhaling to hinge, following your own breath. And after this next hinge, maybe staying forward. Hands could stay on hips. If you're able to keep the chest nice and broad, maybe the hands reach for the legs. Imagining that you could pull the shoulder blades back towards each other, keeping the collarbones nice and broad. Knowing you can come up whenever you like, maybe breathing or maybe staying here for another full breath cycle. And then inhaling back up as you're ready, either hands on hips or walking your legs, your hands back up your legs. Rebending the knees, coming back to that tall and neutral spine as you're ready. And again, it might feel good to find that little bit of wiggle. All right, let's find some more movement of the legs. Rather than doing our big hip circles this morning, we're gonna stick with the figure eight. I couldn't think of the name of it. So coming up onto the toes of the right foot, we'll just start to draw with the toe a little figure eight. Maybe your figure eight gets bigger. You can make this as big or small as you like. Maybe it gets so big that you're actually exploring your range of motion. We're moving into the knee, into the hip. Switching directions as you're ready. Then releasing the right foot, coming back, sole of the foot to the floor. Noticing any sensations, any differences from right thigh to left. And then we'll move to the left foot, coming up onto the toes of the left foot. And again, drawing little figure eights to start. Maybe your figure eights get bigger. Maybe they stay small. This is your practice. You get to decide. Maybe exploring your range of motion. Maybe the figure eights get really big. Switching directions as you're ready. And then as you're ready, releasing the foot back to the floor, sole of the foot to the floor. Noticing sensations in the thighs. Let's come back to the arms a little bit. Let's come back to let's do our finger exercises. So hands can rest on the thighs or they can lift up. I'm going to start with hands on the thighs, and then if it feels better to lift a hand, that's okay too. We'll start with right thumb on, of course, the right hand, right thumb. Drawing figure eights with the right thumb. Other direction. Then releasing the thumb, moving to the first finger on the right hand, drawing figure eights with the first finger. Switching directions. Then releasing the first finger, middle finger, figure eights with the middle finger. Other direction. Releasing middle finger, ring finger, right hand. Things are getting dicey now. Switching directions. Releasing ring finger, moving on to our pinky. Figure eights with the pinky of the right hand. Switching directions. Then releasing right hand, right pinky. Maybe shaking out the hand a little bit would feel good. And then we'll come back to left hand, thumb on the left hand. Figure eights with the thumb. Switching directions as you're ready. Releasing the thumb, coming to the first finger, left hand, figure eight. Switching directions as you're ready. Releasing first finger, middle finger, left hand, figure eights. Switching directions. Releasing. Ring finger, left hand, figure eight in one direction. And then other direction. Releasing that one and the pinky. Switching directions of the figure eight. And releasing left hand, maybe shaking that one out. Let's bring both hands in front of us and we'll make figure eights with the wrists. Whether hands are in fists or spread out is your choice, whichever feels better in your body. And then let's move them a little bit bigger, letting the motions get a little bit more fluid, maybe moving up into elbow or arms. And then deciding where you want to take it. We'll spend about 5 breaths here. Maybe they get really big. Maybe it stays mostly in the wrists. Switching directions as you're ready. And releasing hands as you're ready. Noticing sensations wherever you feel them. Beautiful. We've done our twist and our side bend and our, I think it's time for sun salute. No, first we're going to move down into ankles and toes. So let's lift right thigh, just enough so the foot can come off the floor and we can move into our ankles. So either straight up ankle circles, or you could imagine again that you're drawing figure eights with your toes. Switching directions either of your circle or your figure eight, whichever you've chosen to play with. Pausing here, let's point and flex the foot a few times. Then releasing right foot to the floor. Giving yourself that moment, noticing sensations from one side to the other. And we'll move over to the left foot, lifting under the left thigh, just enough so that the foot can come off the floor. And your choice, either ankle circles or drawing figure eights with the toe. Switching directions, either of your circles or your figure eights as you're ready. And then pointing and flexing the foot a few times before we release this leg. Allowing both feet to be on the floor. Pausing for a moment. And then let's bring the feet wide a little bit, not so wide that you're unstable, but room for your torso to come through a little bit. Let's stretch the arms out wide. And then bring right arm under left and reach for opposite shoulders. Maybe it would feel okay to lift the elbows up with an inhale. And then as you exhale, hinging forward any amount. Inhaling back up. Exhaling to hinge forward. Maybe curling the elbows in towards your belly as you round forward. Inhaling up. Exhaling to either round or hinge forward. This will depend on what feels best in your body. We're looking for a gentle stretch, maybe in the low back area or mid back. Then if it feels good, next time you hinge forward, we could stay for a breath or two. Might feel better to keep moving or just to come back to seated. Letting the feet be quite firm, letting the legs support you, let them be strong. And imagine sending your breath into your low back with every inhale and exhale. When you're ready, coming back to seated. Releasing the hands as you're ready. Pausing here for a moment. Then we'll switch sides, letting the arms stretch out. This time we'll sweep left arm underneath right. Again, reaching for opposite shoulders and something similar. Inhaling to lift elbows. Exhaling to either hinge forward or maybe round the elbows in towards belly. Moving with breath or staying in the hinged shape. Or the rounded shape. Another 2 breaths wherever you are, moving or hinge or rounded. As you're ready, making your way back up to seated. Releasing the arms. And let's move through a few sun salutations. Setting up your legs the way that feels best for you as we move through. So whether they stay wide to allow room for your torso, or whether you like them a little more narrow, setting yourself up now. I'm gonna go mid-distance. Finding that tall seat, crown of the head lifting, finding some release of the shoulders or softening of the shoulders. Chin parallel with the floor, crown of the head reaching up, shoulders are nice and broad. Let the legs feel strong, supporting you. As you're ready, we'll sweep arms either up and overhead or wide. Exhaling to bring the hands back to your lap. Inhaling, we'll arch the spine, bringing the chest through the upper arms, gazing up. Exhaling to round the spine like a Halloween cat. Inhaling back to that tall seat. With your exhale, hinging forward. Maybe the fingertips trace the shins. Inhaling, right arm sweeps up into a twist. Exhale, right arm down. Left arm sweeps up into a twist. Left arm comes back down. Inhale, both arms sweep up and overhead or wide. Exhaling, hands to your laps once more. And move through that twice more. So if you like the arms wide version, that is a great way to go. For the next variation, I'm going to do arms overhead, but if arms wide work, you can stick with that variation. As we're ready. Inhale, sweeping arms either wide or up and overhead. Exhaling, hands come back to lap. Inhaling to arch the spine, chest comes through the upper arms, gaze lifts. Exhaling to round the spine, Halloween cat shape. Inhaling back to a tall seat. Exhaling to fold forward, hinging at the hips. Maybe the fingertips trace the shins. Inhale, right arm sweeps up into a twist. Exhale, right arm comes down. Left arm sweeps up into a twist. Exhale, left arm down. Inhale, both arms sweep up and overhead or wide. Exhaling, hands to thighs, coming back to that tall seat. Pausing for a breath between. We'll move through that once more. Adjusting anything that would feel good to adjust. Maybe the legs want to be a different distance. Maybe you're trying a different variation of the arms. Again, as we're ready, last time, inhaling, arms up and overhead or wide. Exhaling, hands to thighs. Inhale, bringing the chest through the upper arms, arching the back. Exhaling to round the back, Halloween cat shape. Inhaling back to a tall seat. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhale, right arm sweeps up into a twist. Exhale, right arm comes back down. Inhale, left arm sweeps up into a twist. Exhale, left arm comes back down. Inhale, both arms sweep up and wide or overhead. Exhaling, hands to thighs. Beautiful. Let's make our way to standing. If knees are wide, you can bring them closer in. Coming to standing any way that feels good for you this morning. We're not going to go through chair this morning. We've done some work on the thighs with our figure eights already. And let's start by taking a chair version of our down dog. So letting the hands rest on the back of the chair, backrest of the chair, excuse me. Walking the feet back any amount that feels good. And coming as low as feels okay. So maybe you're up here, finding length in the spine, letting the tailbone reach down and away, and the crown of the head reach in the opposite direction. Knees can be bent, feet can be wide. Breathing here. Pulling in the low belly can help to extend the low back as well, creating a little space there. And as we're here, imagine breathing into the low back. Imagine directing every inhale to create space. And as you exhale, softening away any blockages or stickiness. As you're ready, coming back to standing, walking slowly back towards the chair. Let's find our balance poses. Let's have both hands continue to have the backrest of the chair available. So we'll face the back of the chair. Coming up onto the right toes, let the right knee swing out to the right. With the toes on the floor, maybe this is a good place to play with the balance of the hands. Maybe it's just enough to test. It was enough for me today. If it would feel good, maybe lifting the toes, letting the sole of the foot come onto the shin or ankle. Maybe imagining that you could send the right knee down and away from you, letting the standing leg be really strong. Maybe playing with the balance of your hands, lifting one or both, maybe even just briefly. If you're feeling really stable, maybe playing with your arms, finding some branches to test the balance a little bit. If it feels good, it could be one arm. As you're ready, bringing the right knee forward. Maybe stretching out the right toe, pointing the toe forward before releasing to the ground. Finding any wiggling again that might feel good. Tends to bring a little work into the outer hips, I find. They need a little wiggle and shimmy. And then we'll move to the other side. I'll stay facing you, but you can stay facing your chair. This time coming up onto the left toes, letting the toes stay on the floor. Turning your left knee out to the left. And maybe this is a good place to stay, just with the kickstand of the left toe on the floor, letting the right leg be really strong. Playing with the balance this might be a good place to stay. Luna, stop. Then maybe it would feel good to lift the foot, bringing the sole of the foot either to the ankle or the shin. Deciding where you want to be today. Thinking about sending the left knee down and away from you. Maybe playing with branches, maybe one hand or both. Deciding how far you want to challenge yourself today. Then as you're ready, bringing left knee forward once more. Let's point into the left toe, maybe pointing the leg away from you before releasing, all the way back to the floor. Releasing your hands, finding the shimmy and shake that might feel good. While we're standing, let's find a little bit of, let's do a goddess pose today. So widening the feet a little bit, you can still be facing your chair. Toes are pointing out a little bit. And then let's bend into the knees any amount. We're not looking for any pain or discomfort in the knees, so this could be a very shallow bend. You can adjust your stance if it feels better to have feet a little more narrow or a little more wide, finding your variation. And then hands can either stay on the chair, or if you feel stable this morning, maybe coming into prayer position. We'll breathe here. From prayer, inhaling to bring the cactus out into the arms into a cactus shape. Then exhaling to bring hands back to center. Moving with your breath twice more, inhaling to come to cactus. Exhaling to bring hands back to prayer. Would it feel okay to sink a little deeper? Inhaling to cactus. Exhaling to prayer. And release, straightening the legs. Maybe heel toe your feet back towards each other. Finding a little wiggle again. And let's find one more downward dog. Letting the hands rest on the backs of the chair once more. Walking the feet back any amount that feels good so that you've got some length in your spine. Bending the knees might feel good. Feet can be quite wide. Imagining the tailbone reaching in one direction, crown of the head in the other. Finding some space, some length in the back. And maybe here again, you can imagine directing your breath into the low back, creating some space there. It might help to bring a little bit of engagement to the low belly, almost like you're creating an airbag for your low back. As you're ready, slowly walking back towards the chair, making your way back to standing. Pausing as you arrive, noticing sensations in your body. And then let's make our way back to seated. If there's any last movement or stretch or anything that your body's craving before we sit, allowing yourself that space and time to do that. Anything at all. And as you arrive back to your chair, allowing the sit bones and backs of the thighs again to rest down. Deciding whether it would feel good to keep a nice tall spine, or maybe it would feel good to rest along the backrest of the chair. What would serve you in this moment? And then revisiting your intention from the beginning of class. What was it that you might be looking to let go of? Whether it's a situation, objects, something emotional, habits, anything at all. And as we sit here and breathe, imagine with every exhale that you were releasing or letting go of whatever it is. Maybe as you exhale and release, it has a color or a texture. Visualizing, letting go, allowing it to leave your body, leave your mind. Letting go of the visualization and coming back to your body. Noticing the temperature of the air as you breathe in and out. Noticing the sensations in your palms and fingertips. And as we close practice, if it's in your practice, you could bring hands over your heart or hands in prayer position where they can stay exactly as they are. With gratitude to each and every one of you for making time to practice this morning, to move and breathe in community. With gratitude to all the students and teachers who have come before us, passing down this practice. Peace. Thank you all, and I'll stop the recording here.
Thank you.